Greetings and salutations, Salem here. We're back with the second episode of the What If Warrior Cat series. It's been over 2 months, and I have finally returned, but you guys don't want to hear what I've been doing. You want to get into the what ifs, so roll the speed paint. Evil FireStar is a very general concept with a lot you can do with it, so in this one I made him kind of like a cult leader. He joins the clans with the intention of indoctrinating cats into his way of thinking, because in his mind the clans are bad, and he's not entirely wrong. He's right, but also wrong in a way that's interesting. He knows what he's doing is bad, he knows he's a bad person, and he's hyper aware of what's going on around him. Unlike in the canon universe, where Fireheart spends an extensive period of time investigating Tigerclaw, he clocks it from the beginning, and the one doing the investigating is actually Dustpelt. I actually have a map of the events that take place in the series with a few known alterations, because in general this does follow most of the plot, because Fireheart doesn't really go out of his way to prevent Tigerclaw from doing anything due to the fact that they are working in parallel. Fire Blossom is just a lot more subtle about it. Okay, here's a list of what happens in each book. In Into the Wild, Firepaw still joins the clans like normal, and a lot of the same things happen. Tigerclaw's killed Redtail and Ravenpaw witnesses it. But instead of the main trio doing any investigating, it's actually Dustpaw and Sandpaw who are doing it due to Dustpaw's insistence and Sandpaw caring about her friend. Firepaw is affably evil from the start, and generally is already working on a cult-like following of people thinking with an us versus them mentality. Firepaw converts Dustpaw due to the fact that Dustpaw isn't doing well, and kind of will take any connection he can. This somewhat converts Sandpaw, who is friends with Dustpaw and will follow him, and is very loyal, but can notice that something is off with Firepaw. Ravenpaw still runs away, but instead of going to the barn, it's a place that Firepaw has planned. Everyone but Dustpelt, who is currently injured at that point, become warriors. Most of the main book happens, and a lot of this happens with Firepaw's narration being very aware that Tigerclaw is probably a threat, but brushing over it. Okay, on to Fire and Ice. Instead of Greystripe and Fireheart going to save Wind Clan, we have Darkstripe, Fireblossom, and Dustpaw doing it. This is good for Fireblossom because he gets to semi-indoctrinate One Whisker and Morningflower, as well as get a closer relationship with Darkstripe, who currently doesn't like him. They stop by the barn and still go through RiverClan, but they actually have to go through it this time due to weather. The skirmish still happens, and Fireblossom tactically saves Sandstorm, which is good for his relationship with her, which was only slightly strong at that point. Dustpaw is nearly killed by Tigerclaw and chooses to flee to go join Ravenpaw. Greystripe meets Silverstream when he falls through the river, and Fireblossom underestimates Tigerclaw and accidentally has Cinderpaw, someone who matched his level of evil, injured, which is the first time in a list of times when he underestimated how evil Tigerclaw was. Fireblossom also reunites with his sister Princess, who he adds to the cult. Broken Star attacks and is blinded like in canon, and then Fireblossom accidentally brings Cloudkit, which was a total accident this time and had no reason to happen, but it happened anyway. Okay, so I'm going to be combining Forest of Secrets and Rising Storm due to both of them being weirdly short. In Forest of Secrets, Fireblossom still finds out about Misty Foot and Stone First Parentage and keeps it locked away as blackmail. He finally indoctrinates Sandstorm, which he's been trying to do for a very long time. Hides Greyskip's half-clan relationship, because he doesn't really care and he is loyal to Greyskip, as he is loyal to the cult. Silverstream dies in childbirth, but because Tigerclaw isn't there, they hide the kits in the secret hideout, so nobody ever knows about them. This means that Greyskip doesn't ever leave either. Cloudpaw's apprenticed to Fireblossom, Tigerclaw leads the raid and is exiled, Bluestar chooses to make Fireblossom the deputy for some reason, and Darkstripe is semi-indoctrinated due to finding out Tigerstar's betrayal, and also that Dustpaw is still out there. Then on to Rising Storm. Cindersnap indoctrinates Little Cloud and Whitethroat all by herself by helping heal them, which earns their loyalty due to the fact Shadow Clan is currently in shambles. Running away when he still dies. Fireblossom snatches and steals Bramble Kit during the fire, realizing that no one will notice if he just takes him to the hideout. Tigerclaw becomes Tigerstar, which is not very appreciated by Fireblossom as it puts a wrench into his plans. One Whisker, Morningflower, and Gorsepaw have been fully converted, and Yellowfang is now dead. Onto a dangerous path. Bluestar, who's currently reeling from Tigerclaw's shocking betrayal, won't appoint any new warriors, and this means that Fire Blossom has to bend over backwards to prevent wars from happening, not for moral reasons, but due to the fact that Fire Blossom would prefer to keep doing their cult shenanigans. Snow Kid is snatched up and dropped by the hawk and found by the cult, and taken back to the cult place, which is very good for Bracken. Leopard Star is leader and tries to take back Sunning Rocks, which fails. Fire Blossom does use this opportunity to tell Misty and Stone the secret. Cloud tells Metal Warrior to do this, and Swiftpaw and Brightpaw go to fight the dogs, due to being very upset they cannot be warriors despite being the warrior's equivalent of a full-grown adult. They both live but are quite injured. Tawny Paw is indoctrinated, and Darkstripe and Longtail discover the dog plan. They make their plan they made in canon, with Blue Star dies, saving Fire Blossom, which was a horrible decision. We finally arrived at the darkest hour. Instead of staying and fighting, Fire Blossom actually just skips off with the cult and leaves before any of the fighting can actually take place. They go and find a new place to start their cult, leaving everyone behind. Okay, on to the characters. I'll give a brief description of the flower associated with them, as well as the personality traits they have in this AU. The first character I'll be talking about is Fire Blossom, the main protagonist of the AU. Fire Blossom's two flowers that represent them are the Oleander and Black Rose. Oleanders represent danger, and Black Roses represent death. Both are things that fit Fire Blossom very well. Fire Blossom is intelligent, affably evil, charismatic, manipulative, and willing to sacrifice anyone they don't care about for their plans. They try and be discreet about their true mindset and intentions, though, so they don't get caught, because they are aware that the way they think and perceive is different from those around them. They do have a tendency to underestimate their opponents, though, and that can get them screwed over. The second character I'm doing is Grayskip. The two flowers that represent Grayskip are Buttercups and Orange Roses. Buttercups symbolize playfulness and Orange Roses symbolize passion and fierce love. Grayskip, similar to Canon, is still somewhat dumb and naive, impulsive, loving, energetic, creative, passionate, and playful. They're Fire Blossom's best friend and would follow them anywhere. They fight for those they love and are very blissfully unaware that Fire Blossom is not a good person. They were the first to join the cult, and they are one of the most highly esteemed in the cult. Ravenfall is also very similar to Canon. These two flowers are the lavender and the pink rose. The lavender means serenity, grace, and devotion, and the pink rose symbolizes gratitude and joy. Ravenfall is anxious, innocent, smart, loyal, and genuinely wants the best for everybody. Now on to Sandstorm. The two flowers that I chose to represent Sandstorm are the Gladiolus and the Violet. The Gladiolus represents strength of character and integrity, and the Violet represents virtue. Sandstorm is sarcastic, intelligent, and inquisitive. They care a lot about Duskcloud, and it took a while for Fire Blossom to win over their trust. Speaking of Duskcloud, the two flowers that represent Duskcloud are the Marigold and the Blue Iris. In some cultures, marigolds represent mourning, and blue irises represent faith and hope, as well as deep emotions, which I think fits Duskcloud nicely. Duskcloud is very emotional and generally not having a good time. A lot of the bravado that Duskcloud has in the canon universe isn't there. Duskcloud is sad, tired, and wants everything to be over, and has put all of their trust into Fire Blossom because they seem to be the only person aside from Sandstorm who can get them out of this mess. Cindersnap is probably one of my favorite characters in this universe. The two flowers that represent them are the Black Dahlia and the Foxglove. Black Dahlias represent betrayal, sadness, and overcoming challenges. Foxgloves are considered very pretty, but also represent insincerity and deceptive beauty due to the fact they are incredibly poisonous. Cindersnap is kind of like the second Fire Blossom in a way, due to the fact that they are also incredibly manipulative and willing to do whatever it takes to get what they consider the best outcome. They're intelligent, and in general, I tried to cut out the ableism in their story by making them intentionally decide they would rather be a medicine cat for personal reasons. But yeah, they're my baby. I love them. Ignore the brutal murder. Next is Princess, or Bloomheart in this universe. The two flowers that represent Bloomheart are the orchid and the white rose. Orchids represent love, beauty, luxury, and strength, and are also, depending on the color, can mean different things. I just did purple because that's the most well-known. White roses primarily symbolize purity, innocence, and new beginnings. I intentionally picked the white rose to contrast with her brother's black rose because in personality they are completely different. Bloomheart is a loving, caring, polite person who genuinely cares about everybody and who hates to lie in general. And then there's her brother, who is all of the things that she isn't. Rectinatal is represented by the pine needle. Pine needles represent longevity, resilience, and spiritual strength, which I think fits his character very well. He's still as shy and reserved as he is in canon, but he's a bit more anxious and unsure of himself. He followed his sister when she left to join the cult, and he's not really sure what he's doing, but he's trying his best. On to Brightheart. Brightheart's represented by the orange blossom, which represents purity, love, prosperity, and good fortune. Brightheart is similar to canon and very unchanged, being resilient, loving, and loyal to the people that she loves. She still gets attacked by the dog and still deals with a bit of facial dysphoria, but she gets over it and learns to love herself. In this universe, she's in a poly relationship with Cloud and Swift. On to Little Cloud. Little Cloud's represented by the daisy. Daisies represent purity, innocence, new beginnings, and love, which I think represents Little Cloud perfectly. They're quite a pushover and will generally do whatever other people ask them to do because they like to please. They were indoctrinated by Cindersnap and are very, very close with them and consider them very highly and would do whatever they asked without a second thought. They're a trans girl in this AU because I do what I want. Yeah, that's basically it. Now we have Ash Petal, the first one of the two siblings. The flower that represents Ash Petal is the red poppy. Red poppies are generally used to symbol remembrance and death due to the fact that they were used to remember soldiers who died in war. I think this fits Ash Petal because he's another character who's less moral and more willing to commit violence, though he doesn't have the same life-ending crush as he does in canon and is a lot less obsessive. He is Cloud and Fern's sibling, and he's pretty snarky and cold and has a lot of walls up. Now for the second sibling, and for the final character, I'm discussing in this video, because if I discussed all of them, I think I'd have a stroke. Fernstem is represented by the ferns, because of the name, and also because ferns symbolize new beginnings, rebirth, and hope for the future, which I think fits Fernstem very well. And also wildflowers, which symbolize freedom, resilience, and natural beauty. Fernstem is a very caring person. A lot of the people that Fire Blossom manipulates are caring people, and doormats are people who are just as cruel as they are. Duskcloud and Fernstem are not in a romantic pairing because, in my opinion, that relationship is weird, and I'm not going to be doing it. Thanks for watching. This has been a labor of love. I hope you enjoyed and have a good day.